Are you ready?
Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I said, are you ready?
Swung on, line to deep left field. It is gone! You should see the celebration out of the Indians' third base dugout. Rajay Davis, a bullet.
And here we go.
For the We Like Sportz Podcast with the hosts you love, Reeks, Keith, Austin, and Peyton.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are live once again on the We Like Sportz Podcast with
Riggs, Keith, Austin, Peyton,
and
our producer Tyler, the man on the ones and twos.
But anyways, I had a very important announcement. So for the first time in about, I don't even know, it's probably been over a year, I finally watched the 2016, no, I didn't watch the Cavs 2016 NBA Finals. I actually shaved my face.
No
Wow.
way.
How did you do that?
With a razor.
What kind of razor?
Not the manscaping one.
No.
You sure?
I used my manscaping one for my balls.
Nice.
But, guys, as we get things started,
You know it's bad when you got the producer cracking up.
as we get things
Off
started,
to a hot
though,
start.
it's always good
Let's
to
go.
off to a hot start. Well, before we get things started, though, on this YouTube video, when it ends up coming up, make sure to leave us a thumbs up. According to Riggs, he said make sure to leave those thumbs up. He's actually without any thumbs, so if you actually leave a thumbs up with Riggs, he will actually be able to give you a thumbs up with just that, because he does not have able-bodied thumbs or disposable thumbs or opposable thumbs, whatever.
You're going to have disposable thumbs. I'm not sure how that works, but hey, whatever.
Man, I almost turned to a completely different route, which was going to be terrible. But anyways, we'll leave the zoo out of this. I'm so sorry.
I'm going back to the email.
But anyways, as we get things started, Austin, Riggs, Keith, whoever, start off the show. As I said, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Make sure to watch us on Facebook, the replay, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor will be live Thursday morning at 9. But as we get things started, though, guys, propose a rule change for both MLB, NBA, and NFL. Ready? Whoever, go.
Okay. I'm going to start with MLB.
Okay.
And the one I like, who was the Josh Turner we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
I love that idea of having the home run derby after the 10th inning. I love it. There's nothing better than going to a hockey game, seeing some fights, and it ends in a shootout.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing better than going to a hockey game. Regular season game, I'm talking. I mean, when it comes to playoffs, yeah, go ahead. Do the old way, you play until, but in soccer, regular season, they have, they do penalty kicks.
Yeah, that's true.
It's,
Yes.
Why not? I mean, it'd be exciting because the home run derby is such an exciting
the home
part
run
of
derby,
the
yes.
it's the best part of All-Star Weekend,
Yeah.
in my opinion, ever since they got rid of, playing the All-Star game for something meaningful.
Speaking on the whole All-Star Weekend, though, how awesome is it to see them mic'd up? Like, to hear them mic'd
Yeah,
up.
that's
That,
awesome.
that to me
I
is
agree.
the best part of All-Star Weekend. Me and the producer, we were watching the All-Star game. It was in Cleveland this year.
Yep.
Last year, sorry.
That was
so we
nice.
were, so I mean, we almost got tickets to go down there.
I actually have a funny story about that, but continue on.
I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't get the tickets because hearing, I'm glad it happened in Cleveland. If you wanted to go spend the All-Star Weekend down there, it would have been great. But to actually sit down and listen to those players, I think I would have missed that. I think even though it's not going to be in Cleveland for a while again, but knowing that they're going to mic those people up and you're hearing the sounds of the game, that's super awesome.
It really is, yeah. When it comes to changing when it comes to MLB and changing their rules, I don't want to sound picky, but I really have I'm okay with how the rules are going now. Maybe shorter mound visits by the manager. That's cool. That can speed up the game a little bit more. I believe that there should be an umpire behind home plate checking it. You know, they shouldn't have a robot or a camera. You know, you're a human being. You know, at the end of the day, you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
We have to just learn and get over it.
But
so
the human part of the game is the best part about baseball sometimes.
and I remember, I want to say we had a conversation about that rather here on the old show last week. Exactly.
Yeah, last week.
So when it comes to America's pastime, honestly, I just want to see shorter mound visits. That's all.
Well, guys, I guess for the MLB, rule change wise, I want to see, like, and this isn't even me personally, but I know fans want to see a higher scoring game. So I feel like if you hit a home run, like a certain amount of feet, like let's say you end up like hitting it like Progressive Field, you hit it off the scoreboard. That should be like an extra 2 runs because it's just so.
It's only ever
rural.
happened one time.
It's actually almost
Twice.
happened twice because
Almost.
it was Mark McGuire and then Mike Napoli that almost hit it off.
Napoli.
No, Mike
Almost.
Napoli
Napoli
did hit it off the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's right.
Napoli hit it off, yeah.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast, by the way. I told
Yeah,
him,
but
Napoli.
each
Fingers
stadium
crossed.
would be a
Napoli's-
different rule.
I told him we wanted
just-
to party with him.
It would
so.
have to just be projected distance.
So I'm thinking, like, in reality, I mean, what? Off the scoreboard, it's like 450, 500.
Yeah.
So if you hit it like 500 feet, why don't you just get like an extra run or two? Because, like, then you end up having the importance of pitching again. Because if you're throwing up a meatball out there, you're just going to crush it.
I'd
And
say
we're gonna
a
have to-
450 would definitely earn an extra run.
You did, but then
I think 450 is good. You see that?
don't
You
know,
see
man.
that? You know, once a week.
Yeah,
But
maybe,
you want,
but still.
but you know, you want that to happen. You want that to happen often. It's more exciting. You know, guys are gonna go out there really
Well, yeah,
taking Big Daddy hacks. You know.
Yeah, but now there already are, and that
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
back to the whole the baseball's juiced thing, you know, or
Yeah.
they're doing certain things. So do we want
those
to
balls weren't juiced.
Well, no, we manscaped. But if we have, if you propose that rule change, then you got to think about what's actually going to happen inside the game once you do that. I mean, think about that. Now it doesn't matter if you got runners on the corners anymore. You want that fourth guy with 2 outs. He's no longer, you're no longer gonna bunt for that base hit. You're gonna have that guy go up there and jack to try to get those 2 runs in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful on how adding runs like that. I would think. I mean, it would be fun to see.
Here's my biggest complaint too, I guess, and this could be like another like rule change. Then we could end up going to NBA or NFL. But the biggest complaint that I have, at least in video game form in MLB The Show 20, is when you're playing online. I played a guy in Diamond Dynasty, and boy did he piss me off because it was a 1-1 game, 10th or 11th inning. He had a guy on third, 1 out, and he ended up having a suicide squeeze to win the game.
Really?
And I'm like, dude, and earlier, no, it wasn't 1-1. It was like 4-4 or whatever. And then he did it because to tie the game, he had a suicide squeeze, and then to win the game, he did it. And I'm like, dude,
squeeze.
twice. Like, come on,
Hey,
man.
look,
Like,
suicide squeeze.
in real life, I
yeah.
get it, but like in a game, like, dude,
It's
if
just
you're
gonna
doing
piss
that,
you off,
yeah,
is what
it's a
gonna
game.
do, yeah. But I mean, real quick, before we jump though, the one thing I do want to see in baseball, it has to happen. It must happen. We need a salary cap. Baseball,
Yeah,
needs a
absolutely.
salary
It can start
cap.
with the Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't care. That's
We need a salary
Absolutely.
cap. So
Yes.
So, guys, going on to the next topic for the rule changes, NFL. Austin, since you started it last time, how about you start it again?
You're gonna go NFL.
Yep.
If I'm going NFL rule changes, it's got to be the overtime. It absolutely has to be the overtime.
I could get
And it
I could
has
get
to
behind
be-
that.
smart, man.
And hey, it's pros. I think high school you start at the 15-yard line. Pros or college you start at the 25-yard line. NFL, make it the 50-yard line.
The NFL, we could.
But give equal chances
Yeah.
from the same distance. You know, make it fair. You know, so many times the Browns lose in overtime, and it's like I just want to see at least a fair shot. You know,
Yeah.
not a coin flip.
And us being Browns fans,
better during regular time.
We're almost better off. We're almost better off just losing the coin flip, letting them get it, and hopefully we can get a nice punt return to the 35,
Not
40.
necessarily
Or else like
Yeah.
what the Browns always do in overtime when they end up kicking a field goal if they're not punting it, and then that field goal doesn't end the game, that gives
Yep.
the other team a chance.
And you know, Phil Dawson got a lot of work kicking those overtime field goals for
Phil
nothing.
Dawson.
that was the man.
Yeah, for sure.
Riggs, what do you want to go with?
I was hoping someone can just keep going so we can
Keith,
bounce
what do
off
you
me. I
wanna
was
go
still
with?
thinking
All right,
about-
man. I mean, if I'm going NFL rule change, I'm going big. I'm going let them play. Stop attacking people for playing their positions and sacking the quarterback. For God's sakes, it is a contact sport.
Yes.
Let it be a contact sport. Let them get hit. I'm sorry, let it happen.
No, they're wearing their tutus
I mean-
out there for a reason.
I mean, I think Junior Seau would disagree, but
Oh,
I mean, I
God.
would definitely say that it does need to be a lot more rougher of a game, but with limitations.
I guess.
I get the limitations part.
I guess for me though, like after seeing the short-lived XFL once again, because like this is something that should have lasted, but because of unspoken reasons and a pandemic, you're not going to see the XFL more than likely for another 20 years, which sucks.
Yeah,
but
I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun. Like right about now, like next week or so, this would be the playoffs for XFL.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
But like when you see these rules and stuff, like you could end up going with the scoring from an extra point to a 2-point to a 3-pointer. You could go with the kickoff idea of nobody goes anywhere until the ball ends up going into somebody's hand. And that was actually my favorite one overall. So I'd have to say if I'm going with an NFL rule change outside of the overtime, I'd have to say more than likely that kickoff rule that the XFL did. I'm going to take that and run with it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'd say there's multiple XFL rules that I would love to see
In the NFL?
NFL,
Oh, most
absolutely.
definitely.
I want to see them mic'd up as well too, though.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that would be.
I like those
that-
sideline
yeah,
interviews
yeah.
they do.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
When you got a hot mic and then all of a
Shoot,
sudden
could
this
you-
dude's dropping an F-bomb, like absolutely,
Could
I'm
you
for
imagine how much money the NFL lost with them missing out on getting Rob Gronkowski on the sidelines after catching a touchdown?
Yeah.
It. Or else
Oh,
you
the
get like
dance,
a
You
yeah.
Super
get you get
Bowl.
an interview from him right after he catches the touchdown. He's all hyped up.
You're still
And
in
it's
the moment.
It's Gronk, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you make superstars.
Like when it comes back
I
to
mean, that would have done wonders for everybody.
It would have, but when it comes back to the subject on the rule change for the NFL, I like you two are absolutely right. It's a contact sport. Let those guys play. Because I'm over here trying to think of something to say. I don't want to, repeat your question or your statement or your question, but it's absolutely right. Like it's let the guys play. It's a contact sport for a reason. Let them celebrate in the end zone. Get an interview with them right after it happens. Sure, not every athlete is like Richard Sherman, and they're not going to get that intense with you. But it also,
He was talking about my mama.
exactly right. It also shows you the passion that you're in the heat of the moment. Like you can be doing anything in the heat of the moment, and one of your friends could say something to you. You're going to be in that character, in that line, and you might not mean what you say at that moment. But yeah, let the guys play. Like
I'm glad Keith could read because I can't.
Yeah,
with this.
arena football, running receiver.
Oh yeah, in motion all the time.
In
That'd be a
motion
good
all
one.
the time. Yeah, hell yeah. That
Yeah,
was from
I like
that
that.
was from the producer. He's getting in on it. Yeah, no, that's
That'd be
that's
cool,
another
yeah.
good idea. We know
The XFL kind of went with it, but at the same time, it wasn't like arena football wise. That was their goal on paper, but in reality, in the 6 weeks that they played or whatever, in the short time that they played, that was something similar to it though.
Well, I mean, let's be honest though. When it comes to that rule, the wide receivers in the NFL are so good at creating separation as it is.
Sure.
I mean, these defensive players. I mean, it doesn't take somebody who can just pitch and catch, and who has good running route. I mean, that's why Tom Brady's been so good. His receivers are able to get open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have their scheme works so well.
I mean, even if you're
And
5'5", like
can you imagine?
Julian
Can you
Edelman,
imagine him having a Julian Edelman in full motion coming at
All
you?
the time.
I mean,
Yeah.
he'd be open all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
That's a good point.
and then I guess to wrap it up, just kind of start off the show on a hot note, I guess, and then we're gonna end up after we have our 8:00 interview with Bill. And I want to get the last name right, but my phone's acting dumb. I want to say Mendoza.
Bill Mendoza.
Mazzola. There we go.
Mazzola. Sorry, I don't know who Bill Mendoza is. We'll interview you next week.
But Bill Mazzola, we'll get it right when he's on air. But
Hope he ain't watching.
he was actually the producer for Edge and Christian on the WWE Network season 1. He also helped with the writing, the editing. He kind of had the other the behind the scenes look on it. And I think that's going to be a really cool interview to talk about, especially
fun,
from
yeah.
just
Yes.
hanging out with the guys like Edge and Christian, and then seeing it in motion. It was one of the first WWE Network shows as well.
Yeah.
But as we end up, that's going to be at the 8:00 hour coming up pretty soon. But our last proposed rule change, the NBA. I think I have mine, but Austin, go ahead.
All right, I am not going to go with a rule change here. I'm going to go on the fact that the 4-point line can never be a thing.
Son of a
It
bitch.
cannot be a thing.
It's like you kind of took what I was going to say.
It can't be a thing. It just can't be a thing. I mean, you'd have to add an extra defender. Think about how much that opens up.
Yeah.
The floor. I mean, you're gonna see they hardly play defense as it is. You're
Right,
not gonna see
right.
any defense ever again.
I can see Steph Curry getting like
that's-
80 points in a game.
Exactly, because you extend it maybe 4 more feet. You give Steph Curry that chance to be that wide open. No, the defense is gonna have to stretch.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Immensely.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be even less defense, I think. So no 4-point line for me.
Riggs, go ahead.
I was watching an interview with it was Shaquille O'Neal, I believe, and like Kenny the Jet Smith, and they were talking about how they actually wanted the 3-point line to be stretched back a little bit farther, and some of the other veterans told them no. Well, like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those guys are shooting out of the damn court by now. Like it looks when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson shoot a ball, it looks like a layup from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
It looks that simple. It looks that easy. And
Why would
another.
Shaq want that? Like you said, Shaquille, he can't shoot a
Well,
three
him
anyway,
and
so he doesn't give a damn.
Him, Kenny the Jet Smith, and like a few others. Like they were talking about.
Can't even
this-
shoot a free throw. They're
That's
talking
just
about a
It was with
three.
the Orlando Magic like documentary series. They were like in depth, like talking around. They wanted to do that back in the '90s also. And another thing too that chaps me about the NBA, what they should look at are the flops. Those guys,
Yes,
yeah.
those guys
The
are
grind.
those guys. Oh, ha, ha. Those guys are some actors, and I respect all professional athletes. But dude, if my niece can look at the screen and say, well, wow, he looked like he didn't even touch him. He barely grazed his shoulder, and he just turned his neck with some whiplash. Exactly. Why
That's exactly what happens.
that man's bigger than you. Like I felt like you wouldn't have reacted like that. My own niece is telling me that. So I believe, like once again to the NFL thing. Let them play. If they
Yeah.
show the check to do a little bit, guess
Whoa,
what?
man.
You make $1 million. Brush it off. You'll be just
That's what
fine.
I'm saying.
Seriously.
That is, yes, we agree on that.
It happens at the
Watching-
playground, at the rec centers all the time. We pick each other up, keep it
playground.
moving.
Riggs,
That-
you
that's
hanging
the-
out at the playground or
But
what?
that's the
No.
Oh my god. So I mean, not to reiterate what you said, but yeah, man, it's that stupid flop thing. I hate it. You should be fined if you get flopped
Yes.
like that. Like fine them. If you're gonna act like that big of an idiot, like look.
But we all
whether
love Andy, right?
Call it the LeBron rule.
I think his hair helped with
Yeah,
that.
oh,
It
that's
just,
right,
It,
that's
it
right.
just.
Man, I wonder what he's doing nowadays. I actually ran into him the one time just
Bergeron?
when I was interning for like the MAC tournament, or it was the NCAA tournament. I literally was getting picked up because it was after all the games were done, and there's this tall dude, and I walk by and I'm like, that guy looks familiar, and I don't know why he looks familiar. And then like I walked by and I'm like, I walked past him and I'm like, that's Anderson Varejao.
That's what's up. Well,
And then like I walked
freaking-
up to him and I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. Shook his hand and I just kept on walking. I'm like, I know my rides here. I know that like I'm not gonna be able to get a picture, and I know I'm working, and they tell you as a media member
not to do that.
not to do that. And I'm like, what are the odds he's there? I'm just gonna be a gentleman. I'm gonna shake his hand and just be like, all right, here we go. I talked to him. I met him. It was
That's
really
what matters,
weird.
right? Yeah, that's what matters. Well, Tyler at the bar was met with Kyle Korver. So I
Was
mean,
he tan?
What the hell kind of question is that?
And that didn't come out of my mouth.
That's awesome.
Is he tan?
Is he tan?
Wow.
Yes.
That's funny.
That's
But-
what we need to go into break with.
But have you ever gone to the bar and gotten trashed with Joe Charbonneau?
No.
Yeah, that was quite a night.
I drank a beer a few elbows from the Miz one time. That's about it, but not in the
Yeah.
same conversation.
Well, I guess you did mention break, but before we do go to break, I want to bring up my rule that I want to change, though. I want to change the MVP voting, because I feel like it's just the same core group over and over again. It's your Durant, it's your LeBron, it's your Steph Curry, and other than that, James Harden every now and then, but that's, again, going into the flop rule that he's
Giannis
literally...
will take care of that.
Yeah, if there was
Hopefully.
an NBA season.
But the only thing is, you're right though. That's that whole crap like LeBron James. You know, they used to do East versus West or whatever. Now it's James versus whatever. That's garbage.
And, like,
that's garbage.
Like, leave it to...
And it's always the same captains, it seems.
always.
Yeah, what about the
Always, you're
guy
right.
from the small market town, putting it on, like a Sexton? How come he can't be a captain?
Right.
or an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly right. Exactly. It shows that it's fake voting. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's who's the all-star? Who's the not even an all-star, but who has the media's attention?
the most revenue.
Who's the most? It's a popular clique in high school. Who's the most popular? That's
like
what
you
it
should
is.
end up having it in like 4 percentiles. You have 25% like your current NBA players.
Yeah.
25% fans.
Yep.
25% media members, and then 25%.
That's
Hall of
You
Famers.
should actually
But LeBron-
tweak the NBA. That's actually a good
LeBron is
idea.
the biggest star in the NBA, and he's won it 4 times, and I think it's been 7 years since he's won it.
Yeah, that's true.
know,
but,
That's
like,
on his own. That's his own problem, though.
But
That's his own fault.
But he's
Look,
been in the finals every year. He deserves the MVP.
Yeah, he hasn't been every year.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
this
last
year
years
he's
in a
not in
row.
the NBA
right, but the
finals.
last
Or
few
he was in there.
years.
He was in there 8 years in a row.
Yeah, but I mean,
I mean, and he
But he was also against Curry how many
early
years,
right?
too.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like he's a choke artist. And I'm not saying he's not the best. I'm not saying that because you could be the best and still choke in the. I mean, you could be
Yeah.
the best pull shooter in the world and have 8-ball envy. But you're still not going to be able to accomplish what you have to accomplish in your legacy if you're switching teams and you want to be like Jordan, then be like Jordan, damn it.
And I want to go back to that Jordan documentary, too. I don't know if you guys saw it at all, but later on in the show, we do have the NFL draft, as mentioned. We have a lot of things going on, especially being 3 guys that are Cleveland fans. We're going to end up talking some draft. I could care less being a Steelers fan because they don't even have a first-round pick, so Thursday does not matter to me. But, yeah, unless they end up trading. But then the Jordan documentary, I want to talk about Scottie Pippen. I want to talk about Jordan. I want to talk about the Bulls. There's just so much that you didn't know that we're going to end up knowing. But after that, as I open the Weather Channel, we're going to go to break.
Need to spice up your website? Grab some attention on your Facebook page? Need an intro-outro for your YouTube channel? KM Voice will do it all. Pump up your profits and add some video advertising on your channel. Add some fire to your marketing campaign. Do you want to advertise on the radio and want a professional to handle your audio? Well, guess what? We do that too. From writing the script to producing the finished product, we take the pain out of advertising. Need to add voice to your company's training video? Yep, leave it to us. Send us a message on Facebook at KM Voice or give us a call at 440-213-2860. That's 440-213-2860. Production doesn't have to be a hassle. We give you the best because you deserve the best. Send us a message or call now.
And we are back on the We Like Sportz podcast. This time around, we do have a guest, as mentioned, Bill Mazzola. He was a producer for the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness, I think, on the WWE Network. I had to get the exact name, too. He was the producer. He helped out with editing. He helped out with writing, directing. He did it all. Bill, I mean, I've been wanting to get you on this podcast back when it was in the first reincarnation of this podcast. Now we're in the second reincarnation. Bill, how's it doing? Give us a little bit more of your background and what you're doing right now and just overall as well.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I am still a producer-editor. I work for a smaller TV network in Charlotte, North Carolina right now called INSP. It's like a general entertainment network. I'm in the promotions department. I produce and edit all kinds of different promos and movie trailers and stuff like that. And before this, I moved down here in 2016. Before that, I worked for WWE for 12 years. I was in pretty much every department in WWE at one time or another. I was on the ground floor when we launched the network, and I did a lot of editing and stuff for the documentaries you see on there, like 24 and Table for Three and all that kind of stuff. And then when we got thrown the Edge and Christian show, it was pretty much, I mean, it was insane. It was pretty much do a sketch comedy show, go. And like we had like no idea what we were doing. We were just trying to figure out how to do a sketch comedy show about wrestling. And, you know, it was scary, but awesome. It was like, it's still the best experience I've ever had in my career.
Well, for not knowing what you were doing, you sure made it badass.
Yeah. Like, this is Riggs of the We Like.
I mean, so many, you would not believe, like, the meetings we would have. Like, you know, we had a bunch of guys who were basically editors who were all of a sudden sketch comedy writers. And then Edge and Christian, Adam and Jay, you know, primarily came up with a lot of the crazy ideas. And eventually they reached out to some more professional writers to help us out. But a lot of that stuff, man, we just came up with on the fly, like in long meetings, like chump stain challenge and all that kind of stuff was just like throwing stuff against the wall.
Seeing if it sticks, right?
Exactly. And those two are, I mean, they're both awesome, but the stuff that comes out of their brains is amazing. The thing that always was my favorite was the whole Bobby Resnick thing that we did that first season. The ring bell guy. That was completely Edge, just like pitching this insane idea that we were all like, how the hell is this going to work? And it ended up being hilarious.
This is Riggs of the We Like Sportz Podcast. I've been a fan of professional wrestling my whole life. The first time I saw season 1 of the Edge and Christian show, I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for WrestleMania 32, and me and my 2 buddies were at the motel watching it, and we watched the whole season, and I laughed so hard. And the game shows that you guys did on the show that you guys brainstormed and came up with were basically games that me and my friends would just have with one another growing up just to pass the time going by. Like, okay, well, guess this wrestler's silhouette in the shadow, or guess the theme song. Like, it's just perfect. Like, being a mid-20-some-year-old man at that time, it's like you took a teenager's brain and just you made it come to life.
And that's all we were trying to do. Like, that whole chump stain challenge thing was just like, those two are like wrestling encyclopedias. All of us kind of have to be had to be when working there.
Yeah.
And we just like, it was the stuff we would do to entertain ourselves during downtime. And then we just turned it into a game. And the thing that was hilarious about that is like, that started out as like a total joke kind of thing. And by the end of it, Edge and Christian were like super competitive about who was going to win that. Like when we would judge them on whether they got an answer right or wrong, if they got it wrong, they were both like legit. It was like legit heat with that stuff.
You can tell.
Like, that was Christian was not happy he lost that thing for season 1.
That's awesome. This is Peyton of the We Like Sportz Podcast. I mean, overall, like, originally we were just gonna end up like talking about the Edge and Christian show, but I mean, with the background information of being a producer for WWE for however long that you said, I think 12 years.
Yeah.
Overall, like, what was your favorite thing that you were able to produce, and like, who were your favorite people to work with in your time with WWE?
Well, honestly, I know it's gonna sound like a crappy answer, but the favorite thing that I produced was Edge and Christian, because it was so ridiculous. Like, the fact that we were doing like a super scaled down Saturday Night Live kind of thing was just insane to me at the time. And before I knew it, we were like doing these weird interviews with like Luke Perry, and we were having all these wrestlers come in and do these wacky things. My favorite, I'll tell you, my favorite segment that I came up with, or that I really helped write, was Dirty Deeds, where they would interrogate people, and writing that was so fun, and because that was like really, I was like the sort of one of the primary guys on that, and I would just like sit in a room with Edge and Christian and come up with like the craziest crap we could think of to ask people. And the only problems we ever had on that show was whether the higher ups at WWE were going to let us be like super inside and make fun of the wrestling business. That was really the only worries we've ever had. And like, you should see, some of the stuff that we weren't allowed to do was unbelievable. Like, but usually we just sort of like shoot for the moon and then hope that they would let us get away with it. So that was like my favorite thing. I love doing that. But really, like, the thing to look forward to every year was going to take over a city for WrestleMania. It was, my first one was 23 and my last one was, I think, 35. And wow. Those are like the best memories. Like, I was doing something different every year. Like, I started out in WWE. I was working in the international department. So I was like re-editing shows for international air. And then, I was in promos for a while. I was, and then when the network launched at WrestleMania is our best chance, where we have like, 200 wrestling legends there. So we'd be able to interview them for all kinds of different stuff. I worked on WWE Countdown and the Monday Night War documentary when the network first launched. That was amazing. Getting to do those like super long form interviews with those guys about the Monday Night War was sick.
That's awesome. This is Austin from the We Like Sportz.
My favorite wrestler of all time is Chris Jericho. And
absolutely.
the episode, we did an episode of the Monday Night War documentary all about him, like how he spent the first half of the Monday Night War at WCW and the second half at WWE. He's like sort of unique that way. And I got to sit with him and interview him for like 4 hours about his whole career, which was like, 16-year-old me was like, what the hell is going on?
That's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
And as far as the nicest guy or best guy to work with, it's probably a tie. It's either Cody Rhodes or Kofi Kingston, one of those two.
Wow.
Those two are the nicest two guys in the world. And they're also like super nerdy like me. Like they're both into comic books and superhero movies and stuff like that. So there's like a natural sort of chemistry there. So those two were the best. Batista was really awesome too, although my time with him was kind of scattered because he was in and out so much.
That's awesome. Batista,
Nice.
that's awesome. Guardians of the Galaxy, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah, dude, he was there. Like I was there. I was with him like not long after he got the Drax role, and it was really cool seeing how seriously he was taking that. Like he was super nervous about it. I'm so happy he's like a big time star now. He's been in a Bond movie for God's sake.
Right, man. I got a lot. This is Keith from the We Like Sportz podcast, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm jealous that just to hang out with Batista. That's what the hell. That you accomplish everything at that point. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Don't you mean Blue Tista?
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
He did not understand that at all. The blue Tista thing. He was like, I don't get it. I have blue knee pads. What's the big deal?
That's awesome. Right on.
How's it going? This is Austin from the We Like Sportz podcast. I remember I was at I was at Fastlane right before WrestleMania 32, and it was right when they were about to put the Edge and Christian show out, and Edge and Christian made like a special appearance on that Fastlane show. I was there.
I remember that.
It was awesome, but that was when the show first started, and now we see Edge back in WWE, back in live action. Did he have that plan even back when that Edge and Christian show first started? Did he still have that view that he would be back in WWE?
No, dude, not at all. Especially, I wasn't there for the second season of Edge and Christian. They did that. I had left by that point. But that whole first season, like, he was definitely not thinking that way. Like, he wasn't even in close to the shape he's in now. He was really concentrating on, like, when we were doing that first season, we had to do our shooting schedule around his schedule for Vikings. He was on Vikings on I can't remember what channel it was, History Channel maybe. So he was like constantly flying back and forth to Iceland where they shoot that, and he was like really just kind of like, I guess I'm an actor, He and him, Christian and him had launched their own podcast at that point, I think, right around the same time, like their podcast, the TV show. Everything sort of came out all at once. But dude, I asked him a million times, like, dude, is the neck really? And he was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. It's never going to happen.
Wow.
I don't think it even entered his mind until Daniel Bryan came back.
That's
There
crazy.
was a
That makes
snowball
sense.
effect,
Snowball
yeah.
effect. The dominoes fell. It was the stars aligned at that point.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to say I'm friends with him, but like, I check in now and then, and even like as close as a month before he came back at the Rumble, he was like, nope, not coming back. Like he was kayfabe to everybody. Like that secret was not getting out.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
crazy.
awesome. So this is Peyton again from the We Like Sportz podcast, and as you mentioned with like Kofi Kingston, like being like one of the coolest dudes alongside with like Cody Rhodes, when Kofi Kingston ended up winning that WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan last WrestleMania, how was that like? How was it like the feeling just for you to see like a good friend pretty much get his moment, and then from there like him also being like a genuine guy as well? How was the feeling for you when you ended up seeing that happen?
It was awesome. It made me like really. That was one of the moments that I was like, damn it, I wish I still worked at WWE. Like that was one of those moments where I was like, crap, I would be there if I still worked there. It's really cool, especially because like, we were making, like, especially when we launched the network, we had all these shows that we were trying to put out, and we needed to interview these guys about stuff, like, constantly. And, they're on the road 320 days a year. Like, the last thing they really want to do in their hour of free time before like a Raw or SmackDown is like sit down and answer stupid questions about like tag teams from the 80s that I'm asking them. But he was like always with a smile on his face, like super knowledgeable. Always, you know, if he was scheduled for an interview, never gave you a hard time. That kind of stuff. And then like, you know, in between, like when we're not working, like treats everybody from the, you know, the lowest guy, the lowest intern or production assistant, all the way up to the executive producer. He treats everybody the same. And Cody was the same way. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about him, one of my favorite things that I did was, I don't think it ever saw the light of day because Cody left.
Power off.
Dusty had passed, and it was when he was wrestling Green Arrow, Stephen Amell at SummerSlam. And my job that day was to follow both of them around with a camera and like sort of document the whole experience. And so I interviewed both of them, and that was the first time Cody was on camera after his father passed, and that was like an amazing day. It sucked because he ended up leaving, and that never got to see the light of day, but it was still really cool.
Awesome. And then also, as you mentioned too, like being like as part of like the writing staff and whatnot, did you get to have like any featured like storylines at all with WWE programming at all, or was that more so like just involved with like the network specifically?
Yeah, no, I was just network. I was never on like the writing team for Raw or SmackDown, and to be honest, like I don't envy those guys. That's a brutal gig. Like the turnover with the writing staff is like insane because you just get burned out. Like I was never super jealous of those guys. I mean, I was like, you know, I was impressed by them, but they keep churning stuff out, and so much of the stuff that they write gets shot down or changed or whatever. But no, I never did any of that. I was really all network stuff.
This is Austin again. Yeah, with you working so much on the WWE Network, what was your absolute least favorite show, original show from the WWE Network?
Oh, let me think. Least favorite show that I worked on, or
either one,
or just overall.
Overall would be fine.
The one that always was like a huge pain in the ass to accomplish is I didn't do much of it. One of my good buddies still does it. Is Ride Along. The one where they like put the cars in the cameras in cars and you like go between cities with their wrestlers. That's a tough one to do because you got to follow them. You got to follow behind them in your car, make sure the cameras stay on and all that stuff. That was a pain in the ass. And the guys never like that's their time. Like they really get no time to themselves. And now the only time they really get driving between cities, we're trying to take away from them. So like they were never like super into doing that. So that was a tough one to do. Also, Table for Three, to be honest with you, like some of the combinations that we had, like were really difficult to get good stuff out of. Like some of that stuff wasn't the easiest.
Hell yeah.
So one of our fans actually had a question as well from you being within WWE, and he had the question of, how do you feel personally whenever WWE brings back like old wrestlers or else like your like cross-promotional athletes like Ronda Rousey or Gronk, and why do you think they do it as often?
They do it. I mean, it's the oldest thing in the book. They do it for eyeballs. Like you love Brock Lesnar or hate Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is eyeballs. Brock Lesnar is people watch. Like it's proven, it's fact. Like, I think it sucks that he held the belt for a year and a half and was on TV like 4 times. Like, that sucks. Like, the belt should be on Raw or SmackDown every week. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I understand it's a business, and like, you gotta bring the people to get people to buy tickets and put butts in seats. Yeah. Like, and that's why I'm never like, if Cena wants to come back and wrestle a match, they should let him do it. Like, that same thing with The Rock when he came back for the 2 WrestleManias in a row with Cena. Like, people were, you know, wrestlers were upset because he was taking a spot on the WrestleMania card, but like, sorry, he draws. Like, that's the name of the game. So I mean, I get it, especially when it's somebody like Lesnar or Ronda Rousey. Like, Ronda Rousey didn't come and like, she's not Gronk. She didn't come and like dance like an idiot and that's it. She really wrestled. Like, she really learned the business, and her matches were, legit. You know, they weren't like crap. Even Stephen Amell too. Like that guy took it seriously, and that match was like not a joke. It's like when they come in and take it seriously, I think it's worth it.
Arrow was an awesome show too, so I knew he could kill it.
I loved it. I was marking out that day.
That's awesome. So I got a question real quick.
I campaigned to follow him around all day. Like my bosses were like, "All right, just stop talking."
That's awesome. So I got a question. I don't know if I'm gonna end up stealing Peyton's or not, but we were talking about it running a business. This is not a political show at all. But what do you think about Trump telling McMahon that he's the man to restart the economy?
I didn't hear that he said that, but it doesn't surprise me. Like they are tight, you know. And Linda was in his cabinet for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know he contributed to Linda's campaign when she ran for Senate in Connecticut. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I thought it was a little. I mean, I love wrestling and I love the WWE, but those guys getting declared essential workers in Florida so they could keep going is kind of crazy. Like,
right?
They're not nurses and doctors. I mean, those people are essential.
Like,
right,
exactly.
Wrestling is essential. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad to watch it every Monday and Friday. It gives me something to do when I'm bored out of my skull.
Well, now you can watch the We Like Sportz podcast, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Well, before we end up letting you go, guys, do you have any more questions before we let Bill go? I got tongue-tied for a minute. That should have been one of the shows on Edge and Christian's show, is me talking or trying to talk.
Not really a question, just basically one of my favorite moments from the Dirty Deeds from season 1 was when you guys were talking to Stardust, and certain situations were coming up that I'm really not going to bring up, but if the people out there go and watch it, they know what I'm talking about. But I thought that was hilarious.
Dude, that was one of my favorite ones. And then coming up with the idea, we did that idea at the very end to shoot Cody without the makeup to make it look like they were two different people.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember.
We were done. We were done for the day. And we were like, oh, you know, it'll be cool. Let's do this. And he was like totally on board with it.
That's awesome.
Well, Bill, as we let you go, we just want to say thank you as well. And where could our fans find you on social media? And from what I saw on your social media as well, you do have a podcast as well. So if you want to plug that, as long as...
Much. Yeah, my best friend Frank and I, we launched our own podcast, which is it's like literally the sort of the most basic idea for a podcast ever. We would have phone conversations. He lives in Pennsylvania, I live in North Carolina, so we would call each other every now and then and end up talking about all kinds of crap for an hour. And one day he was like, we should just record this one day. So we started doing that. It's called Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture. We talk wrestling, we talk comics, we talk movies, we talk whatever is sort of in the pop culture, you know, zeitgeist. It's a lot of wrestling, stuff, a lot of Marvel movies and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fun, and especially since we're all stuck indoors, we've done like 10 episodes in the last 6 days. Like we have nothing else to do.
That's awesome.
So if you guys want to, if you or your audience want to check that out, it's called Bill and Frank Eat Pop Culture. You can get it wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and on Twitter we're at BF Eat Pop Culture. So please check us out, download, listen, enjoy.
We'll have to, Bill. This is Keith from the We Like Podcast. We'll have to do a. Did I say We Like Podcast?
Yeah.
This is Keith from the We Like Sportz Podcast. We'll have to do a collab sometime. That would be a fun.
Absolutely,
that would be a fun podcast.
I would love that, man.
Awesome, man.
Bill. Thank you so much once again to talk a little bit of WWE outside of just the strict Edge and Christian show. But I mean, outside of that, that was a great time, and we thank you once again. And stay safe out there.
No problem. Anytime you guys want to talk, let me know.
Awesome, we will. Thank you so much again.
All right, man.
That was cool.
That was fun.
That was a good interview. Listen, you guys are the wrestling people. All
yeah.
Right? Listen, this is the amount, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but especially if you know me, this is my amount of wrestling knowledge. I liked Sting. I was huge into NWO Red and Black. Kevin Nash was my guy, and that's it.
You watched a lot of WCW growing up.
I was all WCW,
yeah.
man. Sting, Goldberg, did them all.
Well, you can still watch that now, and Sting came back in WWE at some point, and Goldberg still wrestles for WWE.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still watching WCW. It's just under a new name, which is WWE.
You know what? I gotta start watching it. Well,
you know how many WCW events I went to as a kid? I mean,
Yes,
they
me
come
too.
here and all they cared about was TV ratings. They just go around and be like, here's 100 free tickets to give away. Here's another 100 free tickets to give away.
You
Dude,
get a ticket. You get a ticket. You get a ticket.
Everybody
Oprah
in
of wrestling.
everybody's company had WCW tickets available because they just gave them away to businesses.
That's awesome.
Dude.
It was awesome. They didn't care. They made so much money on the TV marketing.
That Turner money.
Turner money, yep.
Really quick, though, before we go to break, like, we've been hauling you-know-what for our interviews lately, and, like, it's just been, like, crazy, because, like, I knew that Bill was, like, he had a part in the Edge and Christian show, but I didn't know he was a producer for WWE for 12 years. Like, when you end up hearing that, and, like, you were, like, just... like, simple introduction to yourself, and he's like, yeah, I produced WWE content for 12 years. It's like, wait, hold on. 12 years? I started watching in 2006. That's almost my whole entire lifetime. Like,
you could have started off with that.
Right. And then you have Zach Plesac last week. Like, there's just so much content out there. And you can't forget about snacks either. So, I mean...
No, I mean, hell, how could you forget about snacks?
But, like, you have...
For a minute, I forgot. I thought we were, like, talking to... Right. I'm like, yeah, I do have some cereal in the car that I can eat.
Hey, people ever tell you you look like Michael Orr?
Right, yeah. The look on your face, you're like, oh, he actually...
I couldn't believe it, dude. I'm not going to lie.
He thought he was going to come to the phone.
But you were about to become a snack.
Oh, gosh.
But, guys, as we come back from our next break coming up, as you can tell behind us, we do have the NFL draft. We also do... I want to hit on one specific thing in the MLB, and then we could go into the NFL draft.
How do I do this?
But we're going to talk some NFL, and then we're going to end up talking to our sports agent, Zach, that is actually has some clientele that we may or may not have in the future. One of them is... Big baby Glen Davis.
Big baby.
So, I mean, if you got guys like those...
He hated Andy Varejao.
Yeah.
A lot of people did. Like, the way that it goes full circle from earlier on. And, like,
everybody hates everybody. Like, let's just be honest at this point.
I mean, at this point, like, you're absolutely right. But we are going to hit on the documentary for the Jordan takes overall with Pippen, Jordan.
Pippen!
Jordan being a pile of you-know-what, essentially. But we will be back on the We Like Sportz podcast. Guys, before we do go to break, though, how's your manscaping going?
Perfect.
It's going good.
Haven't tried it yet.
It was such a clean shave, I haven't had to do it since.
Dude, not only is there 3 bits in the Lawnmower 3.0, but when I took that 1 bit off...
I'll be right back.
You took the 1 bit off.
We'll go back. Hold on a second.
I think he wanted to bring out his lawnmower for a minute.
I was going to.
But we'll get back to that in a second. But that, like, it's just 1 bit, and you end up going up a notch, and it kind of gets the hairs around the scrotum area. And then from there, you could just take the bit off, and you just pretty much just, like, shaving a baby's bottom. And you're all good to go. And not only...
Please don't ever
shave a baby's bottom.
Right, why would they? That's a hairy-ass baby.
What is it?
I'm not going to use my manscape. Stop! Look at this dude. Manscaped. We Like Sportz Podcast.
Sports with the Z is the code. And on that razor, the Lawnmower 3.0, I just wanted to say one more cool feature. It has a flashlight on the damn razor. So if you can't see down there, if it's midnight and you're deciding that you're trying to get for the occasion with your girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, you could end up just pulling that out. You have the flashlight. You can do it in the dark.
It's
Sports with the Z.
It's perfect for camping, you know? You never know.
You do know when you're camping. 20% off Sports with the Z Manscaping. Check it out. We'll be back after this in the We Like Sportz podcast without a baby's bottom.
Need to spice up your website? Grab some attention on your Facebook page? Need an intro outro for your YouTube channel? KM Voice will do it all. Pump up your profits and add some video advertising on your channel. Add some fire to your marketing campaign. Do you want to advertise on the radio and want a professional to handle your audio? Well, guess what? We do that too. From writing the script to producing the finished product, we take the pain out of advertising. Need to add voice to your company's training video? Yep, leave it to us. Send us a message on Facebook at KM Voice or give us a call at 440-213-2860. That's 440-213-2860. Production doesn't have to be a hassle. We give you the best because you deserve the best. Send us a message or call now.
Hey guys, you want to play 52 card pickup?
Go for it.
Keith's gonna have to play 52 card pickup.
We're back on the We Like Sportz Podcast. Alongside
Riggs.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike, check
You're
one.
not introduced? Oh,
Okay,
I'm Austin.
Riggs, Austin, Peyton, and Keith, and our producer on the ones and twos. I threw you a curveball.
No, I think it's just the grass you have, Riggs.
In other news,
All right, guys. As mentioned, we have another interview coming up at 9 o'clock with the sports agent, Zac. I'll pronounce his last name later. But as mentioned, though, guys, Rob Gronkowski, as Bill mentioned as well, he is currently the WWE 24/7 champion.
Yes.
And yet somehow, some way, 1 year, $10 million? Even though he was retired, he came out of retirement to get traded to Tampa Bay before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski are together once again,
Yes,
and
they are.
WWE did not miss a beat either, saying that Tom Brady could be throwing a touchdown pass to Rob Gronkowski, and Gronkowski's going to have to defend that title on the spot, anytime, any place, anywhere.
that would be
That would
funny
be amazing.
to see Gronk run a little slant pass. He catches it, and here comes a ref just to try to roll him up. You know, a little on-field ref. Like, that would be hilarious.
legendary.
Like
There's
that.
your rule change.
Yeah, yes. They want to call it the No Fun League. Well, there's your fun right there.
And also, let's say Tampa Bay. What game are they usually on? What channel? They're on Fox.
Fox,
Yep.
What's SmackDown
Fox,
on?
SmackDown's on Fox, yeah.
So there's probably a partnership there. So
R-Truth is just going to be just the cameraman holding the boom mic, drops it.
well, if he's holding a camera and a boom mic, that probably won't happen. But we get your
He'll
point.
figure it out.
But guys, the fact that Keith, I know you haven't really paid attention to wrestling in a minute, as you mentioned, but Rob Gronkowski looks damn near sickly. If he's trying to get into football shape, it's time to lay off the CBD, cream, oil, gummies, whatever, and start going to the weight room because
Yeah.
whether if you're sleek and skinny or built like you used to be, Tom Brady, he's old, you're getting up there, he's going to need the help. But how weird, though, like, it's just like, it was a rumor by some guy on Twitter that was a quote-unquote dog, and every time that he had that tweet, he said source was like, Doogie Ruff. Like, he was acting as a dog on Twitter, and this was like way back earlier on in April, and
Oh my God.
and now it actually came true. Like, that's so weird. Like, what if in reality a dog got that right? It's really weird.
That would be weird, and also to agree with you too, Peyton. He needs to, he's a grown man. He's going to do what he's going to do, but put down the CBD, the oils, the candy, the pens, and put back up the whey protein shake, the bars. Hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a tight end. You're supposed to be at least 270 pounds plus to play that position. And who knows when the NFL season is going to start. So he could be hitting his personal gym about now or just sitting on his ass eating.
Since it's the week of 420, stay off the damn weed. I swear to God, Tom Brady's going to be out there. He's not going to be able to tell the difference between Gronk and Mike Evans. He's going to be looking that skinny.
Yeah, that's...
Man,
Tyler says the guy was a dog because he was sniffing out news. I had to repeat that. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
That was good. I
man.
had to repeat that. But, our producer doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's those little bits of wisdom.
That
or else,
was
as you
good.
can see in the green screen behind us, snacks where? Right
Snacks?
above Riggs.
Where's snacks?
But guys, let's call him back in. But as mentioned, though, with that trade, New England ended up trading a 4th-round pick, I want to say. Here, the difference from 2018 with Gronkowski going to the Lions and Gronkowski going to the Buccaneers. 2018, the Lions were going to receive Gronkowski and a 2nd-round pick for New England's 1st-round pick, which was number 20, and a 2nd-round pick, number 51. This year, 2 years later, Gronkowski got traded to the Buccaneers for a 7th-round pick, added to him alongside with the Patriots getting a 4th-round pick. All because that difference, the only reason why they pulled the trigger is because of Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay.
Absolutely.
They don't need him.
No.
You might as well get something. He was retired. I mean,
And it's money off their books since he's coming
Exactly.
back now, too. Either
Might
way,
as well.
it's just, see you later, adios. But, like, the fact that he just looks so skinny, too, it's just so weird seeing him come out of retirement. But I want to jump into MLB really quick.
Well, wait a minute. Can we at least acknowledge the fact that you just gave a timeline, right? This happened and this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you realize if it keeps going the way it's going right now by what are we in, 2020?
Yeah.
So by 2024, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just going to be the Tampa Bay New England Patriots. Like,
Tampa
you
Bay
understand that, right? The
Patriots.
Tampa
Yeah.
Bay Patriots.
Bill
That's what's
Belichick
gonna
and a
happen.
player to be named
Absolutely.
later for Coach Bruce Arians.
Bill Belichick is in the trade now.
They've traded that before,
Hey,
believe it or not.
Doc
Yeah.
Rivers got traded.
Yeah.
That is true.
Remember?
There you go. Yep.
But he's not changing his suit and tie, though. He's just changing his team.
That's true.
That's true.
But, guys, as I wanted to mention with MLB, we might end up getting to the other topics, but one specifically that I want to get to is we've been talking a lot about MLB The Show recently, and MLB The Show 2011 Mike Trout scouting report. This is really odd. So they completely bombed on the prediction of him. His fielding was a C.
No.
His overall was a C. His contact was an F. Power was an F. Speed was a B. And his potential, a D. The little like statistics and like quotes in it. If he goes yard more than a half dozen times, be thankful. He's a competent defender, makes routine plays. He could steal bases, but not as many as the game's best thieves. And he could be a decent regular, nothing more. So 2011.
I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game where Frankie Lindor's the first time he was in the show, and they had him the same thing. It was like a C or a D potential.
Not
It's
even
like
average.
they don't even know what's going on
No,
over
like
there.
they're clueless when it comes to video games. Like I wonder if like the 8th grader that was like helping produce the game was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go with Francisco Lindor. He looks like he's a C."
You sound just like an 8th grader.
I'm sorry, I didn't know Mickey Mouse was here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right, or is that the gingerbread man from Shrek?
Man, but
Muffin Man.
Right, that's what it sounded like. Yeah.
The Muffin Man.
that's all I wanted to say was just was just the Trout thing. Do you guys have any thoughts at all? This podcast is going off the rails.
No, it's the Muffin Man.
No, not after that.
Yeah, no, I have
going
nothing on that
Best
one.
Randy Jackson impersonation. That's a no for me, dog.
That's
Oh, man.
awesome.
But guys, as we go back into the NFL, have you guys seen who's in the Madden cover for 21?
Yeah,
No.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep, Lamar Jackson.
I'm happy about
Yeah,
that.
well,
Hey,
it's because of the
That
Madden curse.
That curse only got broke one time, and that was Patty Mahomes.
But he
It's-
still got
It's
hurt,
due
though.
for another 10 years for another
he
curse
did
to be
still get
broken.
hurt, though. You're right.
I
He
like
did.
the
Still did.
I do
did.
like the fact that Lamar Jackson's on the Madden 21 cover. He had a good year. He had a it was all for him. He had a damn good year.
It was all for him.
I don't believe in a Madden curse unless you're, Steelers on there. But
Listen, Antonio Brown had that curse for 2 years in a row. Come on.
Here we go.
Let's not. Hey, I'll tell you what. If Lamar Jackson ends up having Peyton Hillis his career, I'll be pretty damn happy.
oh wow. I'll buy the Madden 21 game with with a purple cover on it. Yeah, Lamar
I thought
Jackson.
you were going to
why
say
not?
you'd buy his jersey. I don't know why.
Oh no.
I'd buy his jersey. I'd support him.
No,
I'll
not
buy
at
the
all.
game, but like the jersey? Nah.
Plus, yeah, it's also going to an AFC guy. I have an AFC team out there, so I don't have a dog in the fight, but I like that. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, pun
Madden
intended
21.
because the Browns are never in a fight. They're always in a burial.
That's true. No dog in the fight. It happens. Michael
Man.
Vick.
Do you see?
Oh, I shouldn't say that. Not Michael Vick. He didn't do that. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't.
But guys, that was just a quick hitter again.
That burial comment fucking got. I mean, it got me. I apologize.
Riggs is gone.
Yeah,
That's
that-
it. It's over.
That you tugged on a heartstring right there. I almost walked. I swear to God, I almost I need to breathe.
Thank God for
He's right, but damn.
Guys, as we end up kind of changing gears here and getting a little bit more serious, Riggs, thank God I know how to edit audio because that F word that you just said,
That ruined it.
forsaken term. How do we get paid?
Yeah. How's the FCC going to be okay with you saying the F word and him shaving babies' asses? What's going to happen?
This is gonna get weird.
Please sign us.
Man, if you want entertainment, We Like Sportz Podcast live on our Facebook page, 7:30 to 9:30. We're not going anywhere. I'm just plugging the podcast.
Next topic, gentlemen.
What we got? More serious again.
All right, guys. In all seriousness, NFL draft coming up tomorrow. I don't know how I changed that quick and that serious, but I'm not complaining.
Draft serious business.
Yes, absolutely. So the Browns still have the possibility, as of yesterday, that they might end up having a draft day trade with the Redskins. Trent Williams, who they were trying to look at last year, but now they might end up having the solution too of possibly, according to somebody else that used to be on the We Like Sportz podcast.
Who?
I don't know. He didn't wish me a happy birthday, so I forgot his name.
He didn't wish you a happy birthday? Even I did that.
Yeah, and you're new.
I'm going through some crap, and I still had to wish you a happy birthday.
What's going on?
Oh, you were... Oh, I mean...
Patreon only Monday. Saved the day once again. But yeah, guys, anyways, second round pick possibly traded in with... I love that our producer is just throwing up quotes.
He is.
But yeah, second round pick possibly being thrown in with Trent Williams. I did the same thing that Austin did in the car. But you have that combination, so you could possibly end up getting Trent Williams. You're obviously given number 10 for number 2. Let's be mature here, no number 2 jokes. But
Number 3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Redskins are number 3, right? No, Redskins are number 2?
Yeah, they're number 2.
Oh, yeah, nice.
But you end up getting the likelihood of Trent Williams and then your second round overall pick that should be Chase Young, but who knows? I mean, the draft, it's completely different. I feel like this is going to be a year worth watching. Joe Burrow's the only guaranteed number 1 overall pick. That's the only pick that's guaranteed. I don't know what else is going on. And the thing that I hate about watching the draft, though, guys, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys, the time in between the picks.
Yeah, I don't want to just sit there and look at Herm Edwards while it's 8 minutes winding down on the clock.
You know what we should have done?
And we don't need to see Mel Kiper's ugly mug.
Or hyped up fans just screaming for the last remaining minutes.
Well, they won't have fans this year because, you know.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right, that's right. It's going to be boring.
Yeah.
We should have did a podcast during that. We should have did a live show during.
Let's do it tomorrow.
I got nothing to do. We should have had the draft going on in the background, and we should have been able to do a show. That'd have been awesome because you gotta fill in some of that time. It's boring. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
People aren't gonna want to watch that.
Would you split the sponsors with me though?
Oh my God, yes. But I do like that idea. So let's brainstorm it at the end of the show, everybody, and we'll go from there. So that's a possibility tomorrow. A live We Like Sportz podcast edition of the 2020 NFL Draft.
I thought you were just gonna say 2020. I didn't know who was getting murdered.
Oh my God, dude.
Man, this is off the rails.
Yes.
We're having fun at the We Like Sportz podcast like any other time that we're filming.
Right.
But as mentioned, though, that possibility that we have the Browns have the second round pick alongside Trent Williams, giving up number 10. I feel like there has to be more. For this question, though, I guess, because Trent Williams is more valuable than, I guess, a draft pick, and even if you get number 2, I feel like you're getting that pretty much stolen away from the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
But if it came down to it, and the Redskins happen to ask for Odell Beckham Jr. to improve your offensive line and get the number 2 draft pick, would you do it?
Absolutely. You do that, and then you go out with that first round with number 2, and you get the best player available. You get Chase Young, or you get Simmons, whichever one. I mean, we got Myles Garrett. It would be nice to see Myles and Chase Young on opposite edges. But I mean, you got to beef up that
right.
defense. If you can upgrade your left tackle that immensely and have a chance to make your defense that much better, you got to do it. We got so much depth on the team. We don't have any big time players really right now. Schobert's gone, Kirksey's gone. You know, I mean, nothing in that front 7 besides
Baker
Myles
Mayfield's
Garrett.
not even on the field. He's buying Cheesecake Factory. Really weird.
Okay.
I agree with you though, Austin. That's absolutely right. And out of those 2 possibilities, like we were saying too, I see Simmons being a Brown over Chase Young for some odd reason.
Brown, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why. Between the 2, if I feel like I know our front office, it's like, oh yeah, the prom queen's right there, but we'll go for her little sister. that's you know what I'm saying, or
How old's the prom
Who's
king?
only-
How old's the
Who's
Tulsa?
only
What's
one
wrong
grade
with you
younger?
people?
well, damn it. I mean, Dan, you know what I mean. It's an
Damn it,
analogy.
dang it.
We'll go for the best friend. You know what I'm saying?
There you
Like
go.
that's
The front office is stupid. Wait, I'm sorry you got me with that one. That was good.
Man,
That was probably
alive.
one of the best Riggs analogies that I've actually heard since I started this show. Well, I didn't start the show, since I started with the show.
well, we know what you meant.
So, I guess changing topics and just ignoring what Riggs said. Peyton Manning decided to give some advice to Joe Burrow, and I feel like this is kind of like him being a very, 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 very rude person. There's another name for you, and it involves manscaping, but we're not going to say it. But he said on Sports Center... Oh,
He's a
oops.
balls.
Yeah, close.
Oh.
More like the shaft.
Manscaped.
But he told Joe Burrow, he called him last week, Joe Burrow did, called up Peyton Manning, asked for advice on how to handle his rookie season, and Manning told him to learn what he can, become a better player, and then he added, he's okay with Joe Burrow breaking his 28 interception rookie record. Like, I understand, like, I don't know the sense, like, I could understand that, like, it could be some humor, but, like, the kid's brand new to the league come tomorrow.
And didn't Baker already break it?
He broke the touchdown record.
Touchdown record.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the cheesecake record, too.
Wow.
What was that?
Yo, but what did I watched something with Peyton Manning the other day. I believe it was the Peyton's Places TV show, and he said his first year he went from 3-13 the next year to being 13-3. So that's great advice to give somebody, because let you know you just can't come in here thinking you're top dog. You have to leave your ego at the front door being in the NFL. And
I thought you
Peyton
said
Manning,
eagle.
and Peyton Manning coming from a football family, you know, just because I have the last name in the genes don't automatically mean I'm good. You have to put in hard work and be that guy and be close to perfect on that field, honestly. So anything can happen out there, you know. If Joe Burrow starts off with a 3-13 record in the NFL, I won't say he's a bust or it's the end of end of his time.
No, I don't think. I mean, you gotta remember, we hyped up Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
We
of
did
course.
that to ourselves.
Yeah, but you know who day down there is gonna hype them up too.
I thought that was the
that-
Saints.
No, Bengals are.
So what? They're who they and the
They're
Saints
who
are
dat.
who
They're
dat?
who dat.
Who dat?
Who's who?
Who dat? Who day
Who's
is
on first?
What's on
Cincy.
second?
No, but I think they'll hype up Joe Burrow just as much as we hyped up any
They're
quarterback
going
we've
to.
ever
They
had.
have to.
And
Well, I mean, we really, really.
they are sick of Andy Dalton down there.
You want to know what though? We
They
need to
are
start
just sick of him, I think.
We need to start picking quarterbacks by their name. Really, I mean, come on. Am I the only person that picks quarterbacks by their name, and I think their legacy lives on in which commercials they do? Because if you look
Like,
at,
I need more of an example.
Like Tom Brady, Charlie Fry.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like
yeah.
Michael Vick. Like no, I mean as a good quarterback, Michael Vick.
Brett Favre.
Wrangler
jeans.
Yeah. Then you have like, go back to our quarterbacks. Like
Tim
names-
Couch.
Did you really think you were gonna do something
Hey,
with
we
that?
did have Brady Quinn.
Quinn though. I mean that was
That sounds
close.
like a nerdy girl.
It does. That was close to a quarterback.
Sorry if your name's Quinn out there.
We're slowly getting to that. You know what I mean? Like we're like, okay, Quinn, perfect. But then we screwed up. Now we're back.
Johnny
to
Manziel.
yeah, like Manziel's not a quarterback name.
That just sounds like an alcoholic.
It is.
Yeah.
But now you look like you have Mayfield. Yeah, I can get behind that. That's a quarterback's name.
That's a
Mayfield.
good city in
Yeah.
Ohio, too.
Yeah.
He was already part of the Ohio.
We gotta start picking people by their last names. That's just because you ever meet somebody and you're like, "What's your last name?" You have no choice to either be a boxer or you're.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
That's
right.
it.
Like, Riggs' last name is... Can I say it?
Yeah, you say my last name.
Law.
L-A-W, that is my last
Pretty
name.
powerful.
Yeah, L-A-W.
You have
yes.
no choice.
But to
You
be a
have
police
no choice.
officer.
You have no choice but to either be a podcaster and a professional radio person, or you're like a hooker. Like, that's all you got. Yeah, Law, like, where you going? I just
Coco
broke.
Law's walking the corners on Memphis.
I just broke the law.
Say
Like,
you
think about
discriminate?
that kind of shit. You know
When
what
I get my heart broken from a woman, they break the law.
See? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They broke the law. That's it.
Man, that just kind of hit me in the heartstrings.
You in the hearts. I'm going through a divorce. What the hell are you talking about? They didn't break the
Man.
law.
Well, I just wanted to bring up Baker Mayfield, though. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
That was the first time he told us.
That's why I'm over here like, oh wow, man, we're live. It's going down.
Oh, man. But somebody did mention on Twitter, they gave a hot take, and they said that Case Keenum will be replacing Baker Mayfield in 2020.
Boo.
I don't believe that.
I don't
No.
believe that either.
No,
There's that
I
for
hope
the
to
hot
God
take, I
not.
guess.
Nope.
No.
that's more like that's like cold.
Big show. It's the big show.
Right.
Well, as we end up getting ready to go to break here shortly, 2 draft points as well. We're going to give them out, and we'll just talk draft tomorrow if we end up doing a podcast. Because, just stay on the fly with us. On the fly, We Like Sportz Podcast.
what
Or
we
if
do.
you're Keith, We Like Podcast. The New York Giants are looking at Oregon's Justin Herbert for the number 4 pick.
numbers.
I think.
Huh?
They're looking at organs? What the hell's wrong with them?
Oregons.
There we go. Oregons.
Oregons.
Like, what are we about?
It's
to
my
talk
Ohio
about?
podcast.
The Ohio accent.
Oop. But Justin Herbert with the number 4 pick, isn't that a little concerning if you're Daniel Jones just because you were taken last year? Whether you're a Duke quarterback or not, and we know we don't produce quarterbacks out of Duke besides basketball teams that are successful. Baseball's not even that good.
No.
But, like, the fact that you're looking at a quarterback is a little bit concerning, in my opinion. Guys, what are your thoughts overall?
I think
have
Daniel
to
Jones made a case for him that he should be the guy next year.
Not that pandemic case, though.
I mean, you gotta give him
Oh.
no. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley who can. He's going to be a great back for you. And you have Daniel Jones is like a. He's like a Josh Allen. He's like a not as good as Lamar Jackson, but the dude can run. The dude can run and he can throw. He's a good, solid NFL quarterback in today's standards. And I think, you just put pieces around him. He could be the guy, but I wouldn't go out and get a top 10 pick the year after you just spent a top 10 pick
for a quarterback on a quarterback.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
No.
Or like another thing too, like could that front office could be playing games just to throw people under a loop? Like, hey, we're gonna say we want this position and that player, but hey, we're secretly looking at this.
It's trade bait, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Somebody will trade up with the Giants. That's probably a very.
But that's
That's
at number
not
4, and also you have the Lions that are at number 3 that are looking to trade their pick 2 now, apparently. So if you're the Browns, once again, you have a 10th overall pick.
Yeah.
Do you end up pulling the trigger and end up moving up to 4 or 3? Because you don't need a quarterback. You need a lineman. You need a wide receiver. Because, Rashard Higgins, that's about it, and he might not even be on this team next year.
Yeah.
But Riggs made the point. Our front office is stupid. Of course we don't do any of that stuff. Of course we go after
Our
a
front
quarterback.
office.
yeah, ours.
Yeah, God, that
Sorry.
sucks to say.
Your front office sucks.
Yeah.
Mine's going to end up picking reasonable picks.
Yeah.
All from Ohio too.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
here's the thing.
No, say it's your show. It's your show. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
get big.
No, I
right?
was just laughing about the fact that I boosted myself up and I fell back down.
Oh,
The Steelers are going to end up picking draft picks that help out Ben Roethlisberger this year and next year. They're not going to be looking to the future, and they're not going to be looking at a quarterback. They're not going to be looking at a running back. They're not going to be looking at positions they don't need.
Right.
They're going to actually use their educated minds that Cleveland, Sashi Brown, that pretty much ruined all of Cleveland, and whoever their GM is now, Andrew Barry, you guys aren't...
So let's go. You're
I thought you were doing something else.
oh no.
So you're telling me that they're gonna go after picks that help Roethlisberger,
The team
right?
now
That's
scenario.
smart.
Yeah, but that's how the truly great franchises do it. I
Right.
mean, look at Green Bay with Favre to Rodgers. Look at San Francisco from Montana to Young.
Yeah.
You got a guy that can play late into their career to where you can still put a championship team around them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they do retire, you still have that championship team with a promising young quarterback.
Sure.
So you're kind of just saying like the Cleveland
And-
Indians similar, like kind of similar in a way
It's-
when they have a budget.
that's a fair
But
assessment.
in the NFL, when you have a salary cap, you got to strategize and not just spend money. Like MLB, you can just spend money.
Yeah.
The Indians probably have the best front office based on what they're working with. Like if you were to
take
do
the Dolans out of that
pound for
equation,
pound, so to say,
gotta
based on
take
general
it.
managers, they're probably pound for pound the best general managers with what they got.
You got to take the Dolan. I mean, you got to take the Dolans out of it. The Dolans are cheap. They just
Yeah,
are.
they're
You know
just
what I mean?
cheap.
They're just
Yeah.
cheap. And they messed up a lot. They've messed up a ton.
Don't one of them own
Absolutely.
the New York Knicks?
The Dolans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We were talking about
Yeah.
this a while
You're
back.
right, yeah. I'm
But
pretty
I
sure.
want to end up hitting on a topic after this interview coming up after break. But the Cleveland Browns drafted Braylon Edwards in 2005. What if they drafted Aaron Rodgers instead? Obviously, he wouldn't be behind Brett Favre, so that could have ended up changing his career. But what if? It's a game to play because they ended up screwing up Braylon Edwards.
You also got to think.
You
also
got a
gotta
question?
think-
I was going to say, if we would have got... I'm sorry if I cut you off. If we would have got Aaron Rodgers instead in 2005, I think that we would have ruined that man's career. He would have probably been a real estate agent somewhere in a building.
He had 3 years to feel out an NFL pocket.
Yeah.
Without being on the field. That's why he's so good in the pocket. That's why he's able to get out and escape whenever, is because he's so calm in the pocket. He got used to the pocket. Then once you get used to that, I mean, if he would have been in Cleveland, you can't get used to a collapsing pocket every play.
Absolutely.
His knees would have been shot
You
by
know?
now.
I mean,
But no means to cut you off. We do have our interview on the line. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after this. We have some bills to pay. But make sure you go to Jersey Crate to get your latest jersey. That's jerseycrate.com or else their Twitter handle, which is jersey_crate. Use that promo code SPORTS for 10% off. Get yourself a nice looking jersey. We'll be back after this on the We Like Sportz Podcast. And we are back on the We Like Sportz Podcast once again. This time we are joined by sports management company Benalloul Sports Management on Instagram. And I guess your position would be kind of like head of the company, which is we're with Zac Benalloul right now.
CEO and founder.
CEO and founder, there we go. So give us a little bit of your background. I mean, obviously you're a sports management company. You told me individually that you are a sports agent as well, and you're a younger company and you're growing. So give us a little bit about that background.
So yeah, actually I myself, I'm 16 myself, and pretty much we started in December, and since then we've been adding in a lot of clients and a lot of staff that we have on barter, and then we brought in a joint venture agreement with a company called 1010 Sports and Entertainment, bringing us the platform to become FIBA and NBA certified with my partner's company, Dean Hadley. So from that, we've kind of been, expanding, just through that and through, social media and gauging attention. And through that, I also do some overseas work myself with some of the lower level and mid-tier clients, and getting them some deals as well. So really, that's how we've kind of been moving. And from that, our clientele is just getting better and better and better as time goes on. Now we have 5 former NBA guys completely committed to us.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, I mean, since we have you here, we are a sports podcast. Could you mention who they are by any chance? Because I know I don't want to end up getting you in trouble by any means, but who are your clients that you have currently under your wing?
One being Big Baby Glen Davis, Von Wafer, Jermaine Taylor, Brian Cook, and Charlie Westbrook. Those are 5 of our former NBA guys right there.
2 former Celtics.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. When I was 16, I was not doing that.
So,
Yeah.
with your young age, like, what inspired you to end up going down this route? And pretty much, I mean, you're going down a business route without a doubt, but what made you want to do this at such a young age?
Well, it was always really something that interested me ever since I've been young, and you know what I mean, looking in the front offices and being inspired by guys like Pat Riley. So with that, that's really what got me into, joining the basketball business, and from there, that's what I think is going to really, make us the best, because we only put our clients in the best situations possible.
I used to mow lawns when I was 16. That was a thing. I mean, I got into that. I got into that for money. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I did that.
When I was 16, I had no clue who Pat Riley was. I thought he was just the guy that just dressed real nice with his hair slicked back.
Hey man, I'm jealous of you. You should start doing like speaking engagements, dude. At 16, that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
This is Austin from the We Like Sportz Podcast. How exactly big are you trying to make this? Obviously, the sky is the limit for you. But what's your next goal yet? Like, what are you going to try to get some of your clients into? What kind of stuff are you going to do with them?
Well, for our 5-year plan is to cement us as the best management in the nation in 5 years. At the pace we're moving, we're pretty much on track for that. If not, even better. Nobody thought we were going to be like this from the beginning, so I think that if we, keep our work ethic and our, and our motto that we're more than a management and we're a lifestyle, I think that it'll keep going on. And from back to your question of what you were asking, of what our ultimate goal is to be, a revolutionary management, because there's nothing like our management, as our agents have played professional, so they know what it's like to, be on the same level, if not, close to the level of the actual clients we're working with. And with our clients, we usually put them in leagues overseas or push them for an NBA comeback, or, now we're going to have a couple guys in the draft this upcoming season. So with that, we'll have, some guys moving into NBA territory.
So, Zach, when it ends up coming down to pretty much acquiring your clients, like, how does that end up happening? Like, is it just like a previous connection at all, or is it just going out on a whim on social media and hoping for the best? Like, how do you get into contact with these guys?
Well, I have, my agent and I have a database of, all agents have made one in the past of all, NBA phone numbers, and from that, and with some trainers and our, consultants and our recruiters and all of those people that work with us, we have the, database to connect to a lot of players. And from that, and from some connections we have, and from, connections our agents have, and from all of that, that's really given us the ability to navigate and find these players and recruit them in.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, that's super impressive. I'm shocked. I'm a capitalistic person. You know how I am. I mean, I'm a business guy. I love it. And you're doing the right thing, and the fact that you're getting these people early on is super amazing. So I mean, I think the only thing I have left to say to you is I mean, we got great ad space on the We Like Sportz podcast.
And also too, when you end up, like, you mentioned that this upcoming draft, or like one of these NBA drafts, I'm assuming, or else NFL, because NFL's tomorrow literally, but when you end up having these clients, like, what are these clients that are getting drafted? Like, which clients could you share that are getting drafted? Is that NBA, NFL, and who are they?
Most of them are NBA. Really, we only work with basketball right now, since we're, only 4 months in. And all my agents are, surrounded by basketball. We're not really into, football as of yet. That's definitely a plan on bringing in football soon. But that being said, we have, 3 guys for also my agents management. We have about 6 guys for the draft this year that are either going to be, second round or undrafted guys that will, get their way to the NBA, because what we're really about is keeping our guys in the NBA. It's not about making it, it's about staying in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's really what we're about.
Cool.
So out of like all these possible clients out there, I mean, all these up and coming athletes and whatnot, who would be somebody, I mean, obviously you're not in the MLB or NFL, but out of all the leagues overall, who would be somebody that you're looking to target in kind of, I guess, like in the bigger picture? Like, who's one of the like top 3 targets that you want to be a part of your sports management company?
Right now, Well, our 2-year plan for like guys in the NBA, at least we want to represent. My number one probably right now is Jay Crowder, because I think if it weren't for that last trade he had, he wouldn't be in Miami, and that's where he needs to stay. So I think him. Then I think Chris Dunn, number 2. I don't think his representation's been very good. And then Josh Jackson, number 3. I think his representation's just been horrible. And as you see what's happening now, he's in the G League, and he was the 4th pick. So that's our 2-year plan, guys. And then from that, we're planning on going with the, we're always going for, sharks. So I'm not, scared to bring on anybody, but those are, my true targets that I think can brand with us. And then we have a whole target list as well of guys that are, maybe out of our reach, but they're still on the list.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, Zach, before we end up letting you go, first off, best of luck to you, and keep on rolling, because, this is something, especially at such a young age, it's bound to be successful. You're 16. By the time you end up being able to have your first legal drink, who knows where you could be at with these clients.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Let us know how we can help you, man. Let us, bring people on the podcast. Let's get those interviews going. Let's get that stuff on there, man. Let us help you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me again, and just let me know when the podcast is going to come out.
Absolutely. I'll definitely share it with you. And before we end up letting you go, where could they find you on social media? Share your Instagram, share your Twitter if you have it.
Our @ on social media, most of it's, if you could look up Benalloul Sports Management, and then it's BENALLOUL, and then my @ is @Zac Benalloul.
Perfect. Well, Zach, thank you so much once again. We'll definitely be in contact. This is definitely a good partnership because we're still kind of a somewhat younger podcast, helping out a young kid that's way ahead of the game. This could be definitely successful for the both of us. So,
yeah.
Well, we just want to say thank you one more time, and we'll be in touch, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Wow. So, again, another interview. The kid's 16 years old.
I did not expect that.
I didn't either.
The only thing is remember this kid.
Yeah.
I'm seriously remembering because 3 years down the road. 4 years down the road.
We can see him during the NBA Finals game hugging the MVP because that's his representative. Exactly.
What about Josh Jackson?
People always talk about how mature LeBron was at 18 coming out of high school for the NBA. This kid's 16.
This kid's 16 is about to make.
I've never had a conversation with someone as mature as he seemed on the phone right there.
Right, I'm like some big words that I didn't know.
I'm 16. I'm 16. I was playing with wrestling figures.
Rick, you're still playing with wrestling figures.
When I can. I don't own any anymore. But if you have any that you don't need, bring them over to me.
But guys, when he ended up reaching out to us on our social media page, specifically our Instagram, he said that he had 12 people on his staff. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great idea.
Producers throwing out ideas. They're good ones.
One of those ideas, we obviously have that connection, so who knows who might be on this podcast coming up. But when he ended up reaching out to me, he said 12 people on his staff, 2 certified agents, including himself, a certified agent at 16 years old. And then he said, I want to talk about being the youngest management owner in the nation. We've started in December.
That's crazy. In
December, Riggs and I were doing this podcast in my roommate's house at the time.
Sitting on a carpeted floor with a mic like this.
Okay, but now hold on a minute. Now,
we have a good background. We have
like this
better
kid,
microphone.
Exactly.
We're expanding.
We went from
having no Facebook views whatsoever to 1,000 Facebook views. We're not lying. Definitely with he's going for former NBA players. Yeah. He has here's the thing too. When I was in sales, and this is just completely off rip too because it's not exactly about sports, but it is at the same time. In sales, you always end up having goals for the month.
Sure.
You have it for the year, and then you have a 5-year plan, no matter what. That's always usually the way it is in life, no matter what.
Right.
This kid has a 5-year plan already at 16.
I know.
5 years, he's 21 years old.
21 years, he's gonna be 21 years old, and we're gonna be calling him like, "Hey man, dude, can I,
Right.
Could you help us out with Lonzo Ball?
Can I hang out? Please, let's get that guy on.
LeVar Ball? What if he's representing him? Like,
Oh god.
No, he's a smart businessman. He's not representing either one of those people.
but man, like that's so crazy though. Like,
He's not afraid of sharks though.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's not a shark. That's like a squid. It's like shoots ink. It's not. It does nothing.
well, moving on forward with the last 10 minutes of the podcast. Man, what came out of my mouth? That was in English.
What about the podcast?
Listen here, We Like Podcast.
Muffin Man.
Is he tan?
Riggs, you are tan.
Yeah. Snacks.
But as we mentioned, that we are going to talk about the Chicago Bulls documentary. We're going to end up closing the show this way, too, so no commercial break. Stay tuned to us. Before we end up going to the Bulls documentary, though, Facebook Live Monday, or not Mondays, it's
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays nights, according to Riggs, 7:30 to 9:30. Facebook Live, YouTube page, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Leave us a thumbs up. Riggs doesn't have a thumb, so help him out. Give him a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. It's
Yeah,
gonna
that's how
be
it's done nowadays.
in the bottom
Exactly.
right-hand corner. So make sure you hit that subscribe. We're learning, guys. Also, the podcast form, I'm a little disappointed. Listen to that Zac Plesac interview. We interviewed Zac Plesac. Not too many views. That podcast beforehand, when we were at that other place, it's at like 66 views.
Really?
Nice.
The one before with Plesac is about half that.
Well, yeah, but that's because most of them
Everybody
watch
watched
live.
it on. Everybody
That
was
is
watching
true.
live. Yeah.
You gotta remember, we got podcasts and then we got live.
And we got vodcasts.
Vodcasts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Roku.
And we don't got Roku.
Wow, this is
Just 2 simple steps.
We'll never have Roku.
But, guys, like I said, 9 a.m. Thursday morning, which is tomorrow. 9 a.m. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor will be on there for that replay. But, guys, as we go towards the end of the show, the Bulls documentary. Riggs, I know you saw it. You told me. Austin,
loved it.
Keith, did you guys see the Bulls documentary? I haven't recorded.
I did not see it. The only thing I heard about it was that Scottie Pippen got Madonna and MJ was upset about it.
Yeah, but I don't know. They didn't really get into that in that episode, but that's a YouTube series
Oh,
that
is it?
I can shoot you on, like, text message wise, and it's crazy.
Keith, did you see it at all?
I did not.
I know you're going to.
I should have watched it.
It's great. Like, it's
Sorry.
we're the same age. Like,
Sorry,
you see
teacher,
that
I forgot to do my
nostalgia
homework.
footage and everything. Like, it's
But here's the thing, guys. You don't even have to watch it. I'll give you the details. For those of you like Keith that have not watched it right here.
Great.
What?
I just solved it.
No, MJ's trash. He's a trash human being. That's my conclusion.
What? I have to
Scottie
watch this
Pippen
now.
was the 122nd highest paid player in NBA during the Bulls' 6th championship.
and he was leading the NBA with assists, rebounding, stealing the ball. He was maybe like second or third on like another category, and he he was getting like stepsistered by the
You know how much
NBA.
money?
Sistered.
You know how much money? Yeah, you know, those videos.
Oh! Manscaped. Stepsister.
How much was it, Peyton? It was like 7 years, 19 million, I believe.
Well, he had 2.8 million in that 122nd highest paid player
Are you serious?
in the
That's
6th
wild.
championship reign.
That's
this
nuts.
past year, before the season got suspended, the 122nd highest paid player was Andre Robinson with $10.7 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is the difference, not only in inflation, but in just... That's
Just in general,
122
how-
people down the line. That's Pippen $2.8 million because he's literally Batman, Jordan. Batman's Robin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins even stated that on Twitter. He is upset with Michael Jordan because
I mean, I can understand that.
because Michael Jordan just cared about himself as an individual. He won championships with the certified Robin, and LeBron was making the playoffs at the age of 22 by himself.
Wow, man.
Right, but
Yeah.
but LeBron couldn't get over that hump by himself.
But still,
at
though,
22.
you know?
That's true.
And, like,
That's true.
Pippen's contract was 7 years, $18 million. That breaks down terribly.
And the Bulls even made the playoffs the year that Michael didn't play.
Yeah, and the league
It's
was
led by Pippen.
and the league was getting so much revenue around the mid to late 90s. Like the Space Jam movie was coming around at
Yep.
the time. They had just built the United Center. So the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing.
And, like, Go on.
Oh, and Scottie Pippen also in that Bulls documentary, if you guys didn't see it, he has at least 8 or 9 brothers and sisters, and his one brother's in a wheelchair from an accident at school, and his father is badly sick, and he was taking care of his brothers and his siblings and all that. So
And I guarantee you, Michael did not give any money whatsoever because it was all about Michael Jordan.
he built his parents a house from the ground up. So, like, I could imagine him being paid so less by the league, and then you're taking care of your siblings and your mother and father. That's going to cause a lot of stress. And
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, the thing is, too, is, like, another Michael Jordan tidbit. Tracy McGrady said it himself. I'm sorry, you guys. I have these cars in my hand, and we didn't get to use them this time.
We didn't even do the 30 seconds. You
We'll
guys
do it
pissed
next
all over
week.
my
We'll do it
idea.
next week, or else
Pay
we'll do it
attention.
tomorrow during the NFL draft. But
that was perfect.
You couldn't do that again if you tried.
But Michael Jordan vetoed a trade for Tracy McGrady going to the Raptors, or Tracy McGrady coming to Chicago, and Scottie Pippen going to the Raptors in 1997. Michael Jordan had that say.
I believe it.
Wow.
LeBron James and people get upset when he's trying to put his teams together.
Yeah.
But he's not vetoing trades. He might act like an owner. He might act like a general
Yeah,
manager.
but also you got to think, 2 years later, Michael was out.
Yeah, for
He was
18
out.
months or so.
He
like
pulled
that.
a LeBron screwed us getting Anton Jameson instead of Stoudemire.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
Ron
that?
Stoudemire, that was my favorite
and then
player.
Bam left.
Yep.
Man,
And then the bad
He
contracts,
didn't want to leave.
and we couldn't
He
get rid of
didn't want to
nobody.
leave, but like good players. You know, he wanted to screw Scottie. He knew he wasn't going to be in the league 2-3 years. He went to the Wizards.
Right.
He went to the Wizards.
Yeah.
the Wizards
Like, why would you go to the Wizards?
Right.
Yeah.
Scottie
He just
ended
wanted
up,
to end his career away from Chicago, I think.
yeah,
And
Scottie
here's-
ended up going to Portland and San Antonio after all that.
And here's another thing, too. Not only did Michael Jordan, like, this documentary comes out during this whole entire pandemic thing. LeBron won his first ring for Cleveland, 2016. You know when this documentary is supposed to be released?
One.
2016, during that parade for the Cavs, because Jordan wanted it out there then to distract everybody from LeBron James.
Wow.
So
What a
that's
jerk.
That's some shady business.
Right. Especially being from Northeast Ohio, of the Cleveland curse being broken. Like, why would you do that? A 52-year drought was broken in one summer over something you did over a span of 20 years of your career, you jerk.
You jerk.
Like, you make good shoes and you're a funny meme, but dude, like, stop basking in your glory. Let one city have one. I might not see the Cavs win another 5 or 6 more rings, but I saw
Forgot about
one.
the cards.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you brought 6 to a city and they built you a statue. We've had one parade and won a whole day to ourselves, and you want to stop that? Dude, stop.
So
He's talking to Michael Jordan. Are you okay?
I don't know.
You all right?
I want
Dude, you got pissed?
it's like those jerseys again with Dick Godric on the helmet.
Yeah.
Riggs. So I guess to wrap up the show, I mean, what are your thoughts about Michael Jordan?
You're a great player. You're very competitive. You're aggressive. But you're a jerk. But you're great. I love you. You're a great person. But Michael Jordan, you can be a jerk. You're only human, though, so I can't really get that mad at you. But
Human with $1 million.
yeah, and you make good shoes, too.
Multi-million.
Red Forest, red and black.
Man. But I guess, do you guys have any more thoughts before we go into the last 2 topics? Both of them involving the last name Green.
Nope.
All right. Danny Green, Lakers right now, with LeBron and that stacked team with Anthony Davis as well. Danny Green has said, this team is not going to last a while. We have to capitalize for it now. I want to win that ring, and I don't care if fans are there or not. Is it wrong to be ring hungry and not caring about the fans just because
No.
you know that that's kind of like your core group right now?
I don't care. He wants sports just as badly as we do. He just wants to play. And
Anybody
you know what?
wants
He's
to-
in a situation where he could play, and he could play at a high level, and he could play with the best team in the league at a high level this late in his career. I wouldn't want to be taking 6 months off.
Anybody
You know,
wants a
this
ring.
late in your career?
The same crap happened when they're like, oh, it's just a trophy. When the Astros cheated, dude, you play for that reason.
And Alex
Right.
Cora got
For-
suspended for the 2020
Yes.
season, although that might not matter, but
No, but I mean the thing, yeah, right. But the thing is you're playing for a purpose. You're playing
Absolutely.
for a ring. If you're not playing for a ring and you're not playing for that trophy and you're not playing for a championship,
what are you playing for?
then you don't deserve the money you're on the field for.
No, yeah, you're spending time away from your friends and your family, missing out on birthdays and holidays to chase a ring, to chase a trophy, an MVP award. And if you really don't care, there's people out there that are twice as hungry that will do it. Like,
I mean, ask Zach. He was the one that was on the podcast, a sports agent. You're telling me that, like, he can't find somebody hungrier?
Right.
Like, that's just the way it is. That's called the callback. But,
I like that. That was good.
But, Jalen Green, he was a high school student. He has decided to pass on college, and he's going to the G League. He's getting $500,000 to play in the G League and a full college scholarship.
Oh, yeah.
Is this going to be a trend again to skip college if
It
everybody's
needs to
getting
be.
paid this much and you're getting a higher level of play?
I would love to see. I would love to see a league dedicated to just
straight out of high school
for every sport. I mean, the MLB does it. That's called low single A. That's called rookie ball.
Huh.
I mean,
International league.
You're 18.
Like
you're drafted
league.
by the Indians. You're not going to college. You're going to play rookie ball. That's how the MLB does it. I mean, why not? Why not have the G League be college basketball?
Right.
The NBA could run anything. The NCAA is a joke with how much money they make, and they don't give any of it back to their student athletes. Get rid of college sports.
Like, not only that, you're making
get
I don't know
teams.
about college sports. Pay college sports.
Either pay college sports
Pay 'em.
or pay these kids coming out of high school to play at a top performance and it be worth it to them.
Well, I mean, you have $500,000 on the table for him. You had a full college scholarship.
Yeah, who
which
wouldn't
I mean,
take that?
and I mean, plus, what about sponsorship deals? Is he gonna end up getting that too? Because if you add that on top of it, if he's successful, that's almost $1 million at the age of what, 19, 18?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
You're right.
I had one more topic, last one for the day, and it was actually going to be regarding the Astros thing. So the Red Sox finally got their penalties, if this does happen. Loss of the 2020 second-round pick. Ban of Alex Cora through 2020 playoffs, but only for the conduct with the Astros, which makes no sense whatsoever because he is let go, parted ways with the Red Sox, so who's he going to manage for?
All right.
Yeah.
And they banned the replay operator JT Watkins through 2020 playoffs and from doing the same job in 2021. Why are the Red Sox getting a penalty, but the Astros aren't? Oh, that's the Astros.
Yeah.
Slap on the wrist.
I mean, you know why.
Yeah, they need that title taken away.
You know why they
Houston Asterix.
They can't take the title away. At this point, they are too deep into it.
Yeah.
That they cannot take that title because if they do that, they got to let Rose back into the they got to let Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Which they should.
They got to strip the Yankees for the Roy juice. They got they got to kick Bonds out. They got to make McGuire look bad. They cannot do a full punishment on the Astros without doing it around the league and mess up history horribly.
So should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? Final question of the day.
No.
Nope.
No, I'm sorry, Barry.
You know what? I'm gonna say yeah.
Of course you are.
Because you know what? I mean, juicing or not, 600 or 763 home runs. It's somebody that was always a part of childhood, and if he's not in the Hall of Fame, when your kids end up asking about Barry Bonds and who he is, and he's no longer remembered in the MLB, that's going to be disappointed, because I remember being at a young age in a hotel in Canada watching 756 happen.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're looking at that, then you got to say, why isn't Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
I mean, Pete Rose didn't juice up.
Right.
That's like saying, 700 home runs. Yeah, that's great. But give a fat dude 2 8-balls of Coke and he's running a 10K. That don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
On that note, I guess we're going to take this off the airwaves. Again, replay, 9 a.m. Facebook. Live is always going to be there. I don't know why I'm saying that, but that's Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. YouTube, give us that thumbs up. Subscribe right down there by Mr. Keith. That's going to be 9 a.m. Thursday morning. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Replay at 9 a.m. We'll see you guys next Wednesday, and possibly stay tuned for the NFL Draft Solution with the We Like Sportz Podcast tomorrow night. Stay tuned to our social media, Manscaped and Jersey Crate, and KM Voice.